Perfect, yeah.
Commissioner, if it's okay with you, I think we're ready to go ahead.
Yeah, that works for me. Perfect. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for meeting today. I'm Chelsea Robinson, and I was the audit lead on this year's 2019 financial statement and accountability audit. And then joining me today is Carol Ellinger, who's the audit manager for our Port Orchard team, and then Cheryl Friesen as well, who is the supervisor on this audit and reviewed the audit. So the purpose of the meeting today is to go over our audit results with county staff. So if at any point anybody has a question or a concern or a comment, feel free to stop me so we can go over that and I can answer any questions as we go through. And then I'll periodically stop as well and make sure we're all on the same page and there's no questions. So hopefully you can all see my screen right now. And then I did share this packet with Diane as well. So this is our exit conference document here. And then, so today we're going to be going over 2 reports. So our accountability audit report for January through December 2019, and then our financial statement and federal grant compliance audit report as well for the same period. So we already issued our financial statement and federal grant compliance report earlier in October, and then we will be issuing our accountability audit report after today. So before we get started, I wanted to really thank all of the county staff that assisted us through the audit. I know it's been a crazy year for everybody. A lot of things, you know, obviously with COVID and then the election. And I know there were a lot of departments that were very busy throughout the accountability audit and financial federal audit. And they were really great to work with. They made us our priority and the audit went really smoothly. So I just wanted to emphasize that and thank everybody. And then thank Leo, of course, for facilitating a lot of the audit as well. So thank you to everybody that helped us with that. And then, so recommendations not included in the audit reports. We did have some exit items, and I know most people are familiar with exit items, but they are, they address control deficiencies or non-compliance with laws or regulation that have an insignificant or immaterial effect on the entity. So they're not included or referenced in our audit report, and they're mostly just housekeeping items between us and the county. And so I will, the only areas that had exit items this year were the accountability audit. So I'm going to go over the accountability audit first and the areas and then the associated exit items with that. And then I will come back and go over the financial statement audit and federal grant compliance audit as well. All right, so on page 13 is where the accountability audit report starts. I have these bookmarked here. So the results in brief for this audit. So this is where we give our opinion. So in those areas selected, the county operations complied in all material respects with applicable state laws, regulations, and its own policies, and provided adequate controls over the safeguarding of public resources. So if we scroll down here, we have all of the areas that we reviewed during our audit. So I'll go over these really quickly. We reviewed cash receipting for timeliness and completeness of deposits, voids and adjustments at the landfill and the auditor's office. And then accounts payable, we reviewed credit cards and electronic fund transfers. We reviewed the Superior Court for adjustments, collections, and cash receipting as well. We reviewed the Sheriff's Office for citation reconciliations, cash receipting, and contract monitoring. We reviewed the Parks and Fair Department for cash receipting, tracking, and monitoring of theft-sensitive assets. The Assessor's Office, we reviewed property tax valuations and billings, exemptions, and deferrals. And then we also looked at the use of restricted funds for hotel motel taxes, the rural sales and use tax, and the auditor's operations and maintenance fund. And then we also looked at equipment rental and replacement. So the establishment of rates, budget compliance, and then self-insurance for unemployment as well. All right, and then I'm going to go down here to the exit recommendations that we made regarding these areas. So only 4 exit items for the accountability audit. So I'll just briefly go over these, and please let me know if there's any questions or any clarifications that anybody needs on any of these items. So there's one item related to the ER&R fund. So the county ER&R department provides maintenance services to outside governments, such as fire districts and the Washington State Patrol. When we performed our review, we noted that the county bills direct costs, such as supplies and direct labor for these services, but does not include all allocable overhead costs, such as indirect administrative labor. Therefore, not all costs associated with these services are recovered. And then we just recommend that the county ensure all costs, direct and indirect, are recovered to ensure that there's not a gift of public funds. So yeah, like I said, the county is definitely recovering all of their direct costs associated with these services and a portion of the indirect costs, but we were noticing that it wasn't, not all of the indirect costs were recovered. And then for the auditor's operation and maintenance fund, so per RCW, the O&M fund is required to be used for to fund ongoing preservation of historical documents of all county offices and departments. So we found that the auditor's office was recording 50% of the recording manager's salary to the O&M fund. However, there was not adequate support to demonstrate 50% of the recording manager's time was spent on activities for this specific purpose. So we just recommend that the county ensure all expenses charged to the restricted funds are supported by adequate documentation. And then with the assessor's office, during our review of the assessor's office, we found that the office did not retain detail to support the number of properties inspected or slash revalued reported to the Department of Revenue to show how they met inspection deadlines. The office was able to run new reports and get within 2% of the figures, so we weren't concerned that the reports were materially inaccurate or anything like that. And so we just recommend that the assessor's office retain all the detailed support for amounts reported to DOR. And then we also worked with the clerk's office. So the clerk's office has established past due collections policies and procedures to ensure past due accounts are sent to collections. However, they have not sent past due accounts to collections since 2017. We continue to recommend the clerk's office send past due accounts to collections in accordance with their established policies and procedures. So yeah, the clerk's office has made, great improvements over the last couple of years. It's just that last piece of actually sending the accounts to collections. And it sounds like the clerk's office is getting there and plans to do that, soon. Perfect. All right. So if there's no questions about any of the items, I will go back to the first page of the exit conference document here. And I'm going to switch gears now to the financial statement and federal grant compliance audit report. So if I scroll down here, there are some communications that are required by audit standards. So in relation to our financial statement audit report, we would like to bring the following to your attention. Uncorrected misstatements in the audited financial statements are summarized on the attached schedule, and we agree with management's representations that these misstatements are immaterial to the fair presentation of the financial statements, and there were no material misstatements in the financial statements corrected by management during the audit. And then there were just 2 corrected, uncorrected items here. So they just had to do with some coding errors that we found. Nothing significant there. And it's based on conversations with county staff. They are in the process of correcting this for the next period. So I will move on to the financial report. So this is the first page that was, it was published on October 12th. And so I'm going to go to the schedule of findings and question costs, which summarize all or both of our audits here. And so for financial statements, we issued an unmodified opinion on the fair presentation of the county's financial statements in accordance with its regulatory basis of accounting. And then separately, we issued an adverse opinion on the fair presentation with regard to GAAP, because the financial statements are prepared using a basis of accounting other than GAAP. So that's all normal and expected here. And then we reported no deficiencies related to the financial statements of the county. And then for federal awards, so internal control over major programs, we reported no significant deficiencies, but we did identify a deficiency that we would consider a material weakness related to the federal grant audit. But we did issue an unmodified opinion on the county's compliance with requirements applicable to each of its major programs. And then there is two findings. So one over the Belfair and Russellwood sewer, and then another one over the federal grant compliance audit. So we reviewed 4 programs this year. So we reviewed the Forest Service Schools and Roads Cluster, which is the program that has the finding with it, the Highway Planning and Construction Cluster, Child Support Enforcement, and then the Disaster Grant as well. And then here, so we have highlighted the financial statement finding, which is the Belfair Sewer and Russellwood, is the first finding, and then the federal award finding and question cost is the second finding here. So right here, we can go over this. It is similar to the findings that we've issued in prior audits. So it is over Belfair and Russellwood. This information is pretty similar. The declining financial conditions of the Belfair Sewer Fund and Russellwood Water and Sewer Funds puts the utilities at risk of not meeting their financial obligations. So this, the background is all the same information except for updated for, 2019 figures. And then if we scroll down here, there is some updated information. So the county is currently in the process of completing a general sewer plan to develop the plan and design for expansion for Belfair. And then down here as well, we reported operating revenues and expenditures to create a trend each year to see the net gain or loss. And then the big thing with Russellwood is that the county does plan to have a usage-based system fully implemented in early 2021, which the county believes will help with operation costs and ensuring that revenues match the associated expenditures. And the county also has plans to decrease the amount of REAP funds used to subsidize the sewer. So that's promising as well. And then I'll just get down here to the recommendations because most of this information is the same that it has been in prior years. So we recommend that the Board of County Commissioners continue to update the formal financial plan for Belfair Sewer to reflect actual planned activity and to address how it will improve Belfair Sewer's financial condition and expansion, and address Russellwood Water and Sewer's financial condition by implementing a usage-based system, and revise the plan as needed to ensure that the desired results are achieved. And then working with Public Works in the Auditor's office during the audit, this is the county's response. So we are evaluating that information in the development of a financial plan that we expect to finalize during 2020. And then we expect to finalize our financial plan during the development of the county's budget for 2021 for Russellwood Water and Sewer. So when we come in and audit next year, we'll take a look at the financial plans and evaluate how the county is meeting their goals in future years. So that's how we will look at it in future years, is focus on the plan that is developed. And are there any questions about that? I know I kind of went through that pretty quickly, only because we've, it's a finding that has been issued in prior years. And I know that most of the board, everybody's pretty familiar with that. All right, so if there's no questions, I'll go on to the single audit finding. So the county did not have adequate internal controls to ensure compliance with federal reporting requirements. So this is related to the schools and roads grants to state. And then I've highlighted a couple important parts here. So the county received $150,000 in federal schools and roads funds during 2019, which includes $23,000 in Title III funds related to this program. And then federal regulations require that the county submit an annual certification of Title III expenditures and unobligated funds financial report to the granting agency certifying that the county spent the funds received for authorized purposes. So this is an annual report that is submitted. And during our audit, we found that the county did not accurately prepare its certification of expenditures and unobligated funds report and did not adequately support amounts reported and did not ensure that the report included all accounts, activity, and netted items. So for the cause of condition, we found that the county mistakenly used the general ledger report that did not include all Title III expenditures as the grantor requires when it prepared the certification. So the differences here, you know, on the 2019 certification, the county reported funds of $65,000 and amounts expended of $29,000, but actual amounts were $33,000 and $37,000. And then the county, we did find that the county submitted a corrected annual certification after our audit discovered the errors on the report. And then our recommendation is that the county establish and follow internal controls, such as a secondary review, to ensure it prepares and submits accurate and complete financial reports to the grantor. And then during our follow-up and discussions with management, we found that they are working to implement another staff member reviewing that report before it is submitted to make sure everything is correct. And yeah, the anticipated date to complete the corrective action is effective immediately and ongoing. So yeah. Are there any questions related to that finding? All right, so that schedule here, the schedule of findings summarizes, you know, our financial statement and federal award audit. So the only thing I really wanted to pull out in the audit report here is the matter of emphasis paragraph on page 44. So as discussed in note 8 to the financial statements and described in this, this finding, 2 of the county's enterprise funds have suffered reoccurring losses from operations and received subsidies from other funds. So this has been included in our audit report in prior years when we've issued the finding over the sewers. And then also discussed in note 8 in February 2020, a state of emergency was declared that could have a negative financial effect on the county. And this is something that we've included in every audit report that we've issued for all of our local governments. So it's not unique to the county, but it is unique to this year's audit report. So I wanted to point that out. And then, so now I will go back up to the exit conference document, the second page here. So finalizing your audit, the report will be issued later this week. And so when the report is issued, the county will receive notification of that. And then the management representation letter. So we received a management representation letter when we issued our financial and federal audit from the county. And then we also received the updated one as well when we issued our, for the accountability audit as well. So this year we received 2 just because we issued the reports on separate dates. And then audit costs. So we estimated the cost to be $100,000 approximately, and actual audit costs will approximate that amount. And then the next scheduled audit is to be conducted in July 2021 and will cover the following areas: accountability, financial, and federal, just like a typical audit. And then the estimated costs are $107,000 as well. And that is based on 2 audit programs, I believe, for the single audit. So if we have to review more programs than 2, that cost will be increased. And then when the accountability audit report is released, the county will receive an audit survey from us. So we value your opinions. So please, fill out that audit survey, and then it can be forwarded to other management and staff as well. And then there's some resources here for the county to assist them throughout the year. The local government support team and the Center for Government Innovation in our office. And then all of our contact information is available here. Mine, Cheryl's and Carol's, and then our assistant director and director as well. And then the only items remaining are, so here's the management representation letter that we received on October 6th, and then the updated management rep letter. I did receive a signed copy of this. I just didn't receive it in time to update it in this document. So it's received and I have everything that I need from the county. All right, so that is everything from me. If there are no questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that.
Chelsea, this is Patty McGuire. I just like to say it was an absolute pleasure to work with you this year. We very much value your input and an outside set of eyes looking at our operations, but you were professional in absolutely every way and willing to work with us and understand our unique situation here. But I just want to say, on behalf of the auditor's office, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I agree as well. It's always great to work with Chelsea and the state auditors. It's very good. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hello, this is Victor Red in Public Works, and thank you for working with us. And it was great to have dialogue on some using the jargon of the profession in addressing some of the concerns, especially the exit conference items. I'm just looking at the total cost, audit cost, which I have no way of, they always have been reasonable SAO charges, but I'm wondering if there's an opportunity for the state auditor's office to make greater use of prepared by auditee types of documents in order to mitigate that cost.
So I guess I'm trying to understand what the question is. This is Carol. Prepared, like you want a list of things that we need, or?
I'm wondering that if there's an opportunity for you to still maintain your independence and for documents to be prepared and lead sheets to be prepared by the county that may reduce the audit costs.
Do you have a specific example?
I'm in Public Works, and no, I don't have a specific example. I'm really wondering if there's an opportunity to collaborate so that we can, perhaps your audit would be more efficient. Not saying that it hasn't been, but that really looking at an opportunity where that $100,000 can be lessened by us here at the county, preparing more of the documents that summarize the work, summarize your audit, make it more efficient to perform your audit procedures.
So I believe that one of the things that we work on is making our audit as efficient as possible. So I'm still kind of a little bit confused about what you're asking, because when we come in and ask you to run reports for us, and that's part of our process. We don't create reports for you. We ask you to create reports for us to review and to audit. And so I'm struggling a little bit. It's sort of an abstract question. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Chelsea or Cheryl, but I think what we try to do is make it as efficient as possible and ask you to provide the reports that we need to review. I don't know if we try not to ask for duplicate reports. We try to make the information as consolidated as possible. So I don't, Leo, do you have any?
So over the years, we have improved efficiencies. When I first start over the last 5 years, it's improved drastically. I guess it's hard. I don't know what the proper words are, but it was pretty messy when I first started. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to get it any lower than it is. It was pretty high when I first came, and we've got it down pretty low. It's pretty efficient. I don't know how much more efficient we can get it. But that's what, with doing the internal control studies with our external CPA firm and improving our internal controls and doing all of that, just trying to keep the audit costs down that way is probably the best we can do. I don't know, doing the schedules provided by the client and all that, I don't know if that would be I don't know if that would improve it or not. Probably not. I think what we've been doing over the last 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years, has gotten the cost down as far as we can get it, and not to increase the costs, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's Mason County is kind of a unique creature in just our county environment and so forth. Kind of rambling.
Well, I would like to say that, you know, back in 2015, 2016, compared to now, we are charging approximately 500 to 600 hours less to complete this audit. So that's a significant change from and that has been, I think, a collaborative effort between the state auditor's office and the county. So that's a significant reduction, and that has, you know, everything takes time, but I don't know that we'll ever go much below the 900 and change hours that we're doing right now. So all I can say is that over the last 5 years, there's been a significant reduction in the cost of the audit to the county. So.
Leo and Carol, Loretta Swanson here. Thank you for the historical perspective and trends. That's super helpful and appreciated. I would like to say, just as one little teeny example, I know that on the information that Chelsea requested for various audits, whenever we suggested a different way of either packaging or providing information, Chelsea was absolutely open and receptive to things that may provide a more efficient response, but still the integrity of the response that was required by the auditor. So much appreciated.
Well, and thank you for the feedback. You know, I think that we are aware that our cost of an audit can be difficult to bear at, you know, during these times right now. And so we're very cognizant of trying to keep things as efficient as possible. However, at some point, you know, an audit is an audit. And
absolutely.
I think that we, you know, in our collaboration, I have to say that I think we've done a very good job working with each other to get this process that we do as efficient as possible. And I have to also say that I think the county has done a great job over the last 5 or 6 years to get things running more smooth at the county, more efficient at the county, and being able to provide the information we need, plus what the public is requesting in a more effective way as well. So the communication between us has also allowed the county to have a more open and transparent communicative relationship with the public. So I think we've all done a really good job, and I anticipate we will continue this collaboration into the future. So that's, I guess that's the answer to our answer and your answer to that question. Did you have anything else?
This is Victor again, and I don't want to leave my comments without saying that it was an absolute pleasure to work with your staff. My interface was with Chelsea, and in regards to audit cost, I know well, we are involved currently in an internal control review, and as we address those, find and address those weaknesses, perhaps there would be a commensurate or corresponding look at those internal controls and a reduction in risk in those areas, possibly resulting in less testing based upon less risk in those areas as we address our weaknesses in areas of non-compliance. And I've been here for 3 months now, and I would be, not that I'm looking for any additional or work to be placed on my plate, but I wanted to address or have this discussion regarding any additional reliance that you can place on appropriately upon the work that we prepare, and perhaps that would help us to reduce our audit costs. So again, thank you for your professionalism and professional cordiality.
And thank you as well. One thing I do want to talk about is our office is going to be working remotely through the end of June. And I don't know if it'll go beyond that. So it's very likely that we will be in the same remote environment for your audit for next year. So I just want to let you know that. And I think that over the course of the last 7 months, our office has really gained some efficiencies in how we do the remote auditing. I know it's cumbersome in some ways, but that is the future for our office going forward. So I just wanted to let you know that. Any other questions?
Just a real quick comment. Wanted to thank you, and Carol, I just saw you at the MTA audit as well, and appreciate your expertise, your professionalism, and look forward to working with you guys more in the future.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the same from you.
I know that you close them out.
Well, I think that's all we have. So.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.